right. Okay. Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Good
Hello.
evening. Let me share my screen. Share screen. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
All right. Good evening once again. Your last class, we already started Introduction to UI Design Part 2, where you talked about style guides and the grid system. So we're going to continue from where we left off. I'll basically be running us through components, variants, and auto layout. So basically, just like the last one, this is mainly practical. How we are going to be running it is this: for when I finish components, we ask questions, like in between, shall we stop it so I can take questions. And please feel free to ask away. Okay. All right, feel free to ask away. All right, so let's start with components. This might be a very short class. The only thing that could make this extensive might be questions. So yeah, let's start with components. So basically, components are like components basically make your work easier, right? There are things that you can reuse on your work. So instead of you, like for instance, creating like let's say you have a primary button, you have a secondary button, you have a tertiary button, and you have like additional buttons that have icons, for instance. Instead of you always having to like draw it, recreate or copy and paste from maybe where you've used it before, you can just create a component of it. And by creating a component of it, you can also create a variant from your component, so that right there on your screen, when you like use one of your components or your elements that's been made into a component, you can just like right there on your screen, click from your toolbar at this right side there of Figma and select the variant of it. So you don't have to like start drawing your another button or looking for where you used the button before and come and paste it now. So components, variants, they make it easy for you. Same with AutoLayout. So basically these three guys, they are onto one end goal, which is to make your work easier. So you are efficient at your work and you know you do things at ease. When you start creating components, it might seem like you are going back or something, like, oh, it's too slow, blah 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 blah. But it's going to save you a lot of time when you actually, if you actually like put yourself, you can actually do an experiment here where you don't design these components and variants and you design like normally, especially for a large scale project. You see the difference, how components and variants actually help your work. Components, variants, and AutoLayout, sorry, make your work faster. So basically, that's the whole point of it. Yeah, so let's start with components. So let me start with buttons, like the example I gave earlier. So let's say we want to create a button. Okay, so I think I want to link all of them together because they can actually go hand in hand. So let's create a button. Traditionally, you might want to create a button with your square or your frame. So let's say I want to create a button traditionally myself. Let me create a button. Let me set this guy to let's say 60. And I want to add the text. Sorry, I want to add the text. This is a button. Right, I put it there. I'm like, okay, let me make this centered. You are not checking, let me make it centered. You are still checking your stuff, maybe make it centered. Can you see, like, this is actually stress, to be honest. But in a case where we understand what AutoLayout might be, we don't have to start, let me make this a button. Fine, you might decide that, okay, let me just use a frame as per a frame wheel. You can actually make things centralized. So I mean, as I'm teaching you this, I'm also trying to teach you various ways you can also do stuff, right? So you can decide I want to make this a frame, make it 60. You give it a fill. Let's just give it any fill. Just give it any fill. Right, and you decide, okay, since this is a frame, I can just bring this guy here and centralize it. Yes, it makes it easy. That is one step forward. But now AutoLayout now makes it even way easier. Let me make this one white. It's ugly. So AutoLayout now even makes it way easier, right? This one now you use buttons to create your. You use like the traditional method. I create a square, I place my button, and I start to arrange, blah blah blah. Or I just do like this, like I frame my selection. But AutoLayout now makes it easy for you. You just write, let's say if written your text, this is a button. All you have to do is either press Shift A, or you just come here, add AutoLayout. automatically you've already added AutoLayout there. Your paddings are set, your paddings at the top and at the sides are set. So you now come to this part on your Figma board, this right hand side where you have all your, let's say, tools and blah blah blah. You click on this. This is where your paddings are. Then you set your paddings. You can decide that, okay, let the top be 20, 20. Let my sides be, let's say, 25, 25. And I want it to be in the middle, because if you keep it here, it means that it is at the right side and stays at the top. So let me show you an example what I mean. Let me leave it here first, then you see what I mean. Then you can also fill your buttons right here on the layout. You can fill it. You can see you don't have to start arranging by yourself, pressing Alt and trying to check, oh, is this thing equal? It has done that for you. So you've already saved like a lot of time. You can even like customize your buttons to have radiuses thanks to layout. Okay, let's change this guy to white so you guys can see properly. Right.
Hey, it's Olu.
Yes.
Sorry for cutting you, but some people come.
Sorry. It's slow down. Okay, I'm just seeing your question. Sorry, Mabino. Okay. Mabino. All right, let me start again. So basically, I'm trying to teach all these three together because they go hand in hand, right? I could have started to start.
Okay, so sorry, let me come in here. So this is what I think. I think some people are trying to they are trying to follow you. Maybe they're trying to replicate what you're doing while you teach. So I think that's why they actually to calm down a bit.
Yeah, but I've not even started at all.
Yeah,
I am showing. Yeah, I've not started at all. I'm literally just showing you guys that typically you might be drawing boxes or using frames. So I just even started AutoLayout. I've not started AutoLayout at all. I'm just starting now. So you guys, I know you want to like replicate what I'm doing, but I've not started AutoLayout. I'm just starting AutoLayout now. So if you're following what I'm saying at all, I was coming from somewhere, which is what typically you might want to draw boxes first and place your text to create a button. But you might want to draw a frame, thinking that, okay, with a frame, it is easier for me because on a frame, you can simply just click on centralize or whatever, any elements that the elements on centralized will be centralized. But now AutoLayout is now coming in to say, I'm going to make it easier for you, way better than these boxes and the frames. Is that one clear? You can just drop a comment. Is that one clear? What I just said? All right, so I'll take it as a yes. So now we just want to start AutoLayout. So now in the first instance, we use the box and a text to create a button. But in the second instance, we use the frame. Okay, frame makes it easier. Now AutoLayout has now come to say, guy, I'm better than both of you. I'm going to make it way easier than you guys did it. Now this is AutoLayout. I've written my text, right? This is a button. So instead of me drawing a frame or a box over it, I just click, you right click or you click on Shift+A, or you just right click on your computer and you see add AutoLayout. Click on add AutoLayout. Once you add AutoLayout, automatically it is set, all your paddings are set to 10. When you come to this bar here, you see that everything is set to 10. You can still comment. Okay. If they can see everything is set to 10. Now it's not left for you. You're the one that knows the kind of button that you want, the size that you want, and the kind of spacing that you want in between your buttons. I mean, in between the text and the spaces in your button. So you come here and I said, okay, for instance, let's make our top 20 and our down 20. Of course, it has to be equal. We can't do 15 up and 15 down to the button. And maybe the sides, you want to make it 25 and 25. Now, up to this moment, we don't have a fill for our button, right? So I decided that, okay, let us now add a fill. So on AutoLayout, you can simply click on fill here because technically your stuff is already inside the frame. The only difference between this and this is you did not create the frame yourself. AutoLayout has already created that frame for you. If you should take out AutoLayout if you take out AutoLayout from something that you created, for instance, return to a frame. It's technically a frame that has been auto-laid for you. That is your point of AutoLayout. So basically, you're not really measuring yourself. AutoLayout is helping you. Are just imputing numbers that, okay, padding 10, side padding 10, top padding 10, down padding 10, and AutoLayout is just answering. So it's like you're giving it an instruction and it's answering you. I hope that is clear too. So basically, like I was saying, you now come here, you click add fill. So now what we have is a white background, and we don't want a white background. We want something that people can't. We want this color that we used initially. So let's click on it. That is our wine color. Okay, let's make this one white so that it can be bright enough. Let's make the text white. All right, so this is our auto layout. We've created an auto layout right now. So now I want to style it. I'm saying that you can also style your auto layout, your auto laid element. Just like how you can style a typical like square, you can style your square. You can even style your frames. Same with auto layout. There's nothing. The layout is no different. You can style it as well. So we are going to make our radius 10, right? Please, is that clear? You should drop. I want to understand my pace so I can follow that pace. Is this space okay? Nobody has said anything. Okay, I think this is 5:22. I think someone has said something. Okay, let me continue. All right, so this is a button. Yeah, let's continue. So now we've created a button, but let me show you something. If you drag this guy, this is where it's going to stay. The reason why this guy is staying here is because we set it that our elements should stay by the top right of the button. If you even bring it here, it will still stay there because we set that it should stay by the right still, but by the middle right. If you put it here, it will still stay there. Actually, it's not there technically, it is actually moving, maybe in bits, but because we set our padding to be of equal length, that is why we are not really seeing it. But typically, that's what you are doing. So if you click here, come and see what's going to happen. It's going to come to the middle. This means middle. This means right, obviously. I'll be left, Jerry. Don't let me say rubbish. This means right. So basically, this is what you can do on AutoLayout. AutoLayout makes your work easier and faster. Kind of we just did like when you just like draw a box, put button, measure it. Okay, is equal. Yeah, group it so I don't make mistake next time. Yeah, draw frame. Go and click if it's centralized. Okay, measure it. Is this in 2020? This in 1010. But AutoLayout just makes it easy for you. And the truth is, it even helps cops, and it actually cops them mistakes. Because with AutoLayout, you know that okay, this is show it's a computer. I've given it instructions and it has given me what I need. So yeah. Let me show you something else. Let me leave this actually. So basically for this, you can actually extend, as you're extending, you see it follows through, it maintains where you keep it, right? If I bring this guy to my right, that's where it's going to stay. It will always maintain that space and bring it back to the middle. Also, in a case where I'm going to use this, it's because it's the same thing. In a case where you don't want to stretch it, no matter what you add, it's going to maintain those paddings that you created for it. So let's say this is a button we are trying to test. It's everything just keeps going, like it's maintaining that padding for you, basically, right? So basically, that's what AutoLayout does for you. Makes your work easier and it copy mistakes, makes your work faster. All right, now we've done buttons for AutoLayout. Let us try something else. Let's say we want to create like icons. Yes, we want to create something that has icons with it. You can also use AutoLayout. AutoLayout is not just for buttons, to be honest. So let me use this. Let me pick icon from, let's see, Iconify. Where art thou? Where art thou? All right, found it. Okay, let's pick some icons. Yeah, okay. Pick another. Like this one. Pick another. This one. All right. Move. Okay. Let's resize these guys. Let me make you 24. So in case you guys don't know, when you want to resize your icons or anything whatsoever, and you want them to be responsive with each other, just click here. So you lock your sizing. Basically, you're putting it into constraints. Your proportions are now being constrained rather. So you just click here. If I change this, if I click 20, if I make this 24 now, the other side to be 24, because I mean it's locked and everything is following through. Okay, this one's already 24. Let's do this. 124. You can see comments. Let me check. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we have our icons. Okay. Let me show you another instance of layout. Okay, and that I used to do, right? You see how these guys are scattered. Instead of me stressing myself to start arranging, sometimes I'll just do my normal Control A. Okay, it's already arranged. I'll now remove it back. You can remove it by Control, or you can just come here actually. Remove AutoLayout or Alt Shift A, anyone you want. So Alt Shift A. So you've removed it like that. Oh, sorry, Control Shift G rather. Control Shift G, please. So you can just do Control Shift G, or can move from there, remove AutoLayout. So I do sometimes when I want to arrange stuff and I cannot be moving things that okay, I'll just AutoLayout my thing and to arrange it for me because it's faster. All right, so let's put some words here. What is raising their hand? Okay, please. Okay, to remove the AutoLayout, right? Or someone, okay, when they raise their hand, please stop first.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
So I wanted to ask, like, for the icons, whenever to like place it in maybe an Apple like that, or on the
what?
Whenever I want to use it to design, I used to ungroup it after I've selected the icon. So I was wondering why you didn't ungroup it.
No, there's no need to ungroup. Oh. In fact, personally, I would never advise on to ungroup icons because most times they have decimals, and decimals actually disrupt a lot of things on design. So your icons are already in frames. There's a reason they are in frames. It makes your work even easier. Like for instance, everything here now they're all 24 by 24. You can actually measure. Most times when you check what is inside these vector icons, they are not 24. Can you see what's there? They are decimals. So basically, I would never advise that someone even like ungroups the icons. Even when I say icons are ungrouped, I will create my own frame by myself and put it inside because it makes my own measurements easier and it makes consistency very, very easy.
Okay, so what I basically is after I've measured it before ungrouping, then I now ungroup. So can you say it's better to leave it that way then?
Yeah, it's better to leave it that way. It even makes it easier to export. Than when it's just there. Yes, makes it easy for your developers. Okay. So let's use this as an example. We've done buttons. Let's try something else. So we want to let's write fast delivery for this guy. Let's see. 20. No, I'll make it 10. All right, so I'm going to place AutoLayout on this guy, Shift A. You see that it has moved up. Like typically, AutoLayout will always start with by the left at the top. So I will just bring it down here because it's definitely not aligned. Fast delivery is a little bit higher than this guy, and I want it to be aligned. So I'll bring it here. So still by the left, but more aligned, maybe by the middle. All right, so now that we have this, instead of me now still writing, search, I will now come and write, okay, search. By the way I'm moving this thing is not by copy and paste, is by when you click on your text, anything actually, even your buttons, you click on what you want to drag, or what you want to copy. So instead of doing Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, you click on Alt. While you are still on this guy, you see that your cursor is going to change into a double. So you have like double cursors. So it's trying to indicate that you're trying to duplicate this element. So you click on your Alt and you now drag. I don't use mouse, so I don't know, man. How am I going to explain this? So I just use my normal track pad and I drag it. So if you're using your mouse, use your mouse to drag it. Okay, so this stop as if I applied AutoLayout on this guy. So instead of me coming and still writing, oh, explore or something, I can duplicate this guy here, right? And I can actually add this guy right here. It's going to enter inside. That is the beautiful layout. You can add things inside. You should always maintain that proportion that you set it to be. So I don't need this guy anymore. You can go and all I have to do is change the text to explore products. Are we following, please? Please, if I'm too fast, you can always indicate. Thank you. Yeah, for the next guy, add to cart, or make it by product. I think I like by product, or anyone else. All right, place it inside. All right. So is this part clear, please, before I proceed? I'll take that as a yes, I guess. Nobody raised their hand. You don't have to type. If it's clear, is it clear? Raise up your hand. Or you just give me a thumbs up or something. It's not clear, Baliki's aircon. Okay, please shoot. Balikis, you have a question. You said no. Or I should just take it again.
Yes, please. Take it again.
All right. So what I did here, basically, the first one we did adding buttons. I be creating, using AutoLayout to do your buttons. You can use AutoLayout to do a lot of things. These are just instances. The first one we did was for buttons. Now I'm not showing another area, like another application of AutoLayout, which is this. So I'm saying that, let's say, for instance, I want to write text and icons, right? I want to create a situation where I'm placing icons and text together that align with each other anyways. So what I will just do is, I've already set my stuff to, okay, well, let me just scatter this guy. Control G, yeah. All right, so I have already set, I took my icons from Iconify, right? I brought my icons here, I wrote my text. So I set this guy to a 10. Even if this guy is here today, I need to click here and click here and set it and put AutoLayout. This is what will happen. It will bring it together. Then, of course, it will just use its own, it will just calculate on its own and give it whatever it is it deems fit. Then it's now left to you to add your padding. See what AutoLayout gave me, 156, and I cannot blame AutoLayout. It's because it was very far from each other. So it just used its discretion and gave me a padding, a padding that I think works. So it's now left to me. I now decide that, okay, I don't want 156. I set it to 10. Then, from what I can see, this stuff is still at the top. I do not want it to be at the top. I want it to be in the middle, but of course aligned by the left. That was why I brought it here, just like what we did with the button. So, but it's not in the middle. Please, there's a difference. It's not in the center, rather. Yes, it's in the middle, but not in the center. So I brought it down. And I said that instead of me now creating another, like putting icon and writing text again, I don't have to do that. I can simply duplicate this guy. Bring whatever I want to add. Let's say I want to add this guy. Let's say I want to add this guy as well. Like I want to create this guy. It should look like this guy. I will just come here, put it inside, remove this one because I don't need it, right? But if you need it, it's fine. It depends on context, whatever it is. I remove them. You can see that it's entering into each other. So what I'm saying is what we just did here is another application for AutoLayout. And what we also showed is that inside AutoLayout, you can also add stuff inside. Like, okay, let's see these buttons now. If I bring this guy here, it will enter inside. If I bring this guy here, it will enter inside, maintaining the proportions that we've set. See the proportions we set here. Okay, now let me even clear this so before you guys make the mistake. Now the button that we did, we set it to 20, 25, 20, 20. Right, that is the padding. Why these guys here? They are more like spacing in between items, like what we did here. These guys here, their items, they are spacing in between themselves. This one, on the other hand, is like a frame that you are setting the padding for. That's the difference between a padding and a spacing in between items. I don't know, is that one clear?
Yes.
All right. So that's why you see that it's maintaining 10, 10, 10. So if I change this guy now and make it 30, can you see the spacing has changed? But it's still maintaining your padding. Your padding will be maintained. So basically, you have two things that you can achieve auto layout. Just like when you write, okay, you guys should be familiar with this. If I write this is a button, this is a button, this is a button, this is 40, this is 40. Okay. These guys, if I select on them, you will see that this is to show here, right, that this is 40. That is just spacing between items. So basically, when you do auto layout, you won't see that guy here again. Can you see that you can't find it again here? It will now come here. That guy that you saw here when you selected these guys will now come here in the auto layout side. It's still the same guy. The only thing is because you have elements at that bottom, I mean, you have to add space inside your elements. You cannot just join them together. So you now come there. So it's like as if you are working on a frame. Like the same way you're working on a frame typically here. It's the same way you're working on a frame when you auto layout something. So basically, like I said earlier, an auto layout is just a frame that's been auto laid for you. Like it's that simple. So I think is that one clear? Can I go further?
Yes, yes, please.
All right. Thank God. All right. Let me clear this guy. So we have this, and we have this. Now I want to also show you that AutoLayout does not just stop at, okay, I've done my icon and my text, there's a space. You can also see, even as it's arranged like this, you can also make AutoLayout from it. Let me show you guys. So we have this, and this. From my spacing here, okay, 1, 2, 3. I want to add like 3 more things to this, but we don't want to be creating it by ourselves, measuring by ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to select these 3 guys and we are going to place auto layout on them. So Shift A, they've been auto laid at 19. Let us make it 30 so you guys can see what I'm doing clearly. So you can decide that I want to add more things. You see what is going to happen. It will keep copying, and I'm copying and pasting. I will share another form, copying and pasting. You see that it is maintaining that, to keep maintaining those that spacing that you've created in between them. That spacing is maintained. Or in a case where we are not copying and pasting, maybe you just want to add something to it. For instance, if I bring this guy, for instance, let me make it black so you guys can see. If I bring this guy, for instance, if I place this guy inside this place, it's going to enter and maintain 30. So auto layout, you can auto layout in so many, like in different ways. You can auto layout by the side, horizontally, vertically, however you want it. So now that we've done this, let's move to another application of auto layout. Then this time we're going to have a box. But before I go for that, who has any question? That is doing inside the search and other buttons. Okay, so the search, I simply I took the icon from Iconify, if that's what you mean. Yeah, that's what I did. The search, I took it from Iconify basically. I think some people are raising their hands. Okay, Ebuka ask. Ebuka Dennis.
Hello, please. I want to know how you inserted the delivery and the search buttons. That's the insert. I don't really know where to find it. So that's why I'm.
Okay, let me just show you. I took it from Iconify. You just click on the Figma logo, right? Then click on plugins. Then you just click on this guy. It keeps going down. Then if you find what you're looking for, this Iconify, click on it. Then Iconify, you can just search for what you want, right? So that's what I did basically. Is that clear? So I just dragged it, dragged it inside. So is that clear, please? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. It is clear, ma'am.
Okay, I think someone else raised there. And oh wait, someone said we want to have plugin in our own Figma. Why don't you have plugin in your own Figma? Go to plugins. I did not even install anyone specially. It's there. Open your Figma, you see plugins there. Someone here, Alara Pay, Timilein, please shoot.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon, Timmy.
Yes, sorry. Please, I want to. Can you like repeat the process of how you kept this? This is a button we are trying to test, and the search button, and the explore products.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Oh, so what I did is the same thing that I did for these guys. Basically, I was just showing you guys the same thing. To be honest, so let me just try it again. Let me bring out this guy. So you see how we have add to cart. Then I showed you guys that you can decide that you want to add more things inside this same frame, right? You just come here and you enter it, to enter, and it will maintain your proportions, your 10 10 10 that you set it to be. So this was what we did here as well, which is basically you're adding it inside this guy. Like that's what we did. Is that clear?
Yes, I understand.
All right. So let's. All right. So I said, wait, sorry. I just want us to be repeating these questions. I'm taking them as they come. You can click browse button. Okay, so what does answer that? All right, let's continue, please. Another way you can do another application for AutoLayout. These are just examples of AutoLayout. Pretty much I've explained what AutoLayout is. I'm just showing you guys various examples. We've done for buttons, we've done for this example. I want to do for another example. Let's do something that has like a background. Let's see. Let me have this. Okay, let me bring these guys that we've worked on here. Clean that for now. Okay, but this class was going to be short. I was jonesing. All right, so now we want to create an AutoLayout where, let me set this guy to this 30. Let me make it add 8 plus 8. Okay, now we have 30. Okay, so we want to create a situation where as I'm adding stuff, the distance is responsive, the background is responsive. Do you get? For instance, if I want to add these guys now, my background will not move with me, isn't it? One situation where the background is also following me as I'm going, is also following me on the journey. That makes any sense. So now what we're going to do is, we've already done AutoLayout for these guys, thank goodness. So what we're going to do is we click on this guy that we've added AutoLayout for, because just if you don't like do AutoLayout for these guys and you just jump and do your AutoLayout, everything will scatter. So you have to take your elements in bits. You've grouped these guys, you've grouped this guy, you've grouped these guys. So now what I want to do is add AutoLayouts in such a way that these guys will be moving. So all you have to do is select these grouped guys and select the background that you want to move with it, and click Shift A for AutoLayout. So what is going to happen? AutoLayout is going to bring these guys to this side, typically as usual. So if you want to expand it, that's fine. It depends on what you want. You can always expand it. Nothing will happen. Just like what we did for the buttons. As long as this is where you're maintaining it to be. Like as long as you're putting it by the left-hand side, or if you want to be in the middle, it's fine. It's going to answer you. Once you put it here, it's going to answer it, just like what we were doing earlier. All right. So if I want to add more elements to this, the box is going to now follow because I have auto-laid it to follow through. Now let's see that in action. You can see the box is following me. Like wherever I take it to keep following. So I think that is clear, right? Even if I insert, so it's not about copy and paste. Anything you do to keep following because you've placed AutoLayout on it. So basically, like I said, AutoLayout makes the work faster. Now you can see that these things, they are not actually work. Like in the sense that when people are doing AutoLayout, they may think that they're stressing themselves when they first start. But the truth is, you are really helping yourself. It makes your work really, really, really fast. And yeah, so that's basically, and it even covers mistakes, like I said earlier. So I think that is So I think that is all for now for AutoLayout. Do you have any other question before I proceed? Because I want to now show us component and variant. Okay, I think I'll take that as a no. Okay, I think I should show you guys this. So the AutoLayout that we've been working on is the one that is vertical, like that is going down. Can you see this arrow where I'm playing my cursor around? So this part is to indicate that my the spacing beside me between my elements will be going down. See what we did here? You see that it is like this. It's to tell me that the spacing between my elements will be going horizontal. So now that when we want to change this guy, for instance, let's say I want to make this guy to go horizontal, all you have to do is click here to follow through. I can always, and so the reason why this stuff cuts like this is because I already messed with it. Can you see that? Well, how you know that you've already messed with your frame, so to speak, in quote, is that you see this part, it's not going to be disabled again. Typically, when you place AutoLayout, this guy is supposed to be disabled. Can you see that the height is no more showing? But basically, once you've touched on it, it will no longer be disabled. That is why when I turned this to horizontal, it's, it did not follow through. But in a context where, let's do this again. In a context where I to front, and yeah, so in a context where I don't know, let me expand my screen just in case you guys cannot see, and zoom in. Okay. So in a context where everything is set, you can see there are no manipulations anywhere. I'm just following through with what AutoLayout has given me or what I've set it to be. If I do it like this, sorry, I think I made a mistake somewhere. Control Z. Now let's create our into front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 2020. Okay, select, and AutoLayout. This is not working. Okay, yeah. So in a situation where I want to set this guy to be horizontal now, you see what is going to happen. You see that it is maintained. There's not like it did not cut. The box is following through. Let me show you guys again, because it's like that's my stuff went out, so you guys might not have seen it. So in this place, what happened here? Let me put them side by side. Or rather, let me create another screen so you guys can just see this thing a bit. Okay, better. In this case, this guy was manipulated. The background was manipulated. Typically, it was what it was set as. Let me make the color the same so you guys can get the point. This is the color I used. No. Yes, I used EF. Okay, nice. So in this, typically it was what the guy was set as. Then I manipulated it and extended it horizontally. So when I made this guy horizontal, that is this element, this stuff stayed right where I placed it. It was fixed. But in this case where I auto-load everything, that's I even auto-load the background horizontal movement, when I make this guy horizontal, the background should be follow through and maintains the width I've set it to be in an auto state. Does that make sense? Because I want to move to components. So does that make sense? I'll just drop your chat or signify by giving me thumbs up, please.
Yes.
Okay, that is a yes. Okay. All right. Thank you. Now let us move to our next guy. Why did I not just copy and paste? All right, let's move to the next guy. Let's move to component and variants, they go hand in hand, especially this one's especially go hand in hand. So we're going to run them together. Okay, so let's use this guy. I want to use an AutoLayout button so that our life can be easier. All right, so you want to run component and variant. So like I said earlier, I gave an example where maybe you have a primary button, you have a secondary button, and maybe you have a button that looks maybe different in the sense that it has like an icon, maybe a download button, for instance. So let's say you want to design a website, right? Maybe let's say let's try an arrow section. So yes, let's set our buttons first, our components first. So this is a button. Let's name this guy primary button. Right? All you have to do is click on it and create a component, or you just do Ctrl-Alt-K, create a component. So personally, I would advise that you name your components and they make life easier for whoever is coming to your board. Primary button. So you see this component here, you can simply create a variant of it by coming here. Can you see this part here where you have variants? You can simply create a variant of it. Also, you can write a description of your button so that maybe if you're in case you're working for a very maybe your organizational structure is quite large, or maybe you have like developers and you want to make it easier for them, you can just describe it if you want. Like describe the button. Okay, this is a primary button, this is what it's going to be doing, blah 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 blah. Typically, most of the time, it's not necessary. When it is clear, if it's not clear, you have to describe it. So yeah, there's that. So you can just add a description if you want. This is a button that sends the user to the next page. Anyone you want, to be honest, no must. There's no must to put a description, but yeah, if you want to, fine. All right. This is a primary button. Then you can now add a variant. This place, you just click on this plus. The variant is created. So your variant is created, you can actually manipulate the variant however you want it to be. So we don't want our variants to, how did this one spring up by? All right, so we don't want our variants to look the same, obviously. So we can change these variants. You can write secondary button for this one, secondary button, or button 2, whatever it is you want to. You can always expand your listing just so you can see what you're doing. It's a free word. So I don't want this guy to have this color. I want to have, and please name your variants too. All these variants, one variants too. It might even convince you too. So the best thing I would advise that you actually just give it a name that people can reckon with. Just like how we named our component, our first created component. You can just name your variant secondary button. Okay. So please hope I'm not too fast though, because I talk fast typically. So please feel free to drag me back. So let's say our secondary button is going to look like this. Add a stroke. Change our text from white to dark color. Okay, somebody left. You're fast to mad you. I'm sorry, this is my slowest. Jeez, I do like. Anyway, so let me start again. But do you guys understand the create a component part? I mean, that one was clear now. Do you understand that part?
Yes.
All right. So it's the variants that you guys are having issues with.
No, please come again.
Okay, let me just delete this guy. Come on, be going. All right, let's start again. This is our button, right? And we said that I want to show you guys how to create components and variants from them. So let's say this is our primary button in it. Then we want to now create secondary, tertiary, or whatever buttons that can be used on our landing page, right? So the whole essence of creating variants from this particular component is so that when we are working on a landing page, you don't have to go back, copy, paste. From that our landing page, you can just click from wherever it is right there, and we can simply swap to whatever kind of button we want to use or whatever variant better, whatever variant we want to use. So this is our primary button, right? All we have to do is right click and click create component. There, your component has been created. Then I advise that it's best to actually name your component and your variant so that whoever visits, it will be easy for them to navigate. Also makes it easy for whoever is going to be developing your design. So basically, you mostly find these things even on your style guide. When you go to your style guide, you have all these things on your style guide. They are all part of style guide. And the whole point, that's why it's called style guide, is so that people can, whoever is working on your work, whoever is going to visit your work, we have a guide on what things are when they visit. That is your point. So that's why you are also creating components. It's like you're adding it to your style guide. Sorry, read this column. All right, primary button. We are naming this primary button. All right. You know what, so guys, please hold on. Let me close this window so that it won't be so loud. I think this rain is quite loud. Yep, think that is better. Yeah, that is better. Okay. All right, so the use of components, don't say what's the use of components. All right, so the use of components basically is it's just for making it easy for you to reuse elements. Like I said it from the beginning, that's why I gave this instance. Instead of you going to, maybe if you've used this primary button on one page before, you will now go back, pick the button and come and paste it here. Stress. With components, whatever you change now for in your components page, so to speak, will reflect in others. So it also helps you to, it even saves time. Let's say, for instance, now I've used this button on like 10 pages on my design, Abby, and I now create components. If there is a mistake somewhere in that button, or maybe I want to change something in the button, I'll now be going to them one by one and be changing it. But once there's a component somewhere, I can just go to the alpha. I don't know the English I will use now. I like using alpha a lot. I'll go to the alpha component, which is this guy. That's the very first one you created in your alpha component. Every other one is just a copycat. You copied and you pasted it in other pages, right? I'll just go to my alpha component. Anything I change here will reflect there. We're going to do all of this here, so you see the importance of components. Anyways, so let's continue. So this is a button. I think I will even do that first before I do my variant. This is a button, is the first component you create, right? Alpha component. So if let's say I want to use this is a button somewhere else. If I want to use it here, and I want to use it here. If I do something like, I don't. Sorry, I already weirdest things. Enjoy it like that. Okay, maybe like that. So let's say, and let's say for instance, I want to change this guy. This guy's padding. If I change this guy's padding, just watch what is going to happen to this guy as well. If I change this padding to 50, this guy still be changing. Can you see? 50. They've changed. Now, this is a very good example of why AutoLayout is important. Can you say they join together? Because no AutoLayout in between them. So stress, you will not come again and be arranging it by yourself. But if there's AutoLayout, see what is going to happen. If I AutoLay this guy, I select both of them, maybe Shift A. I've established that I'm using 20 as my spacing in between them. So if I come here and I'm changing this guy to make you middle, I don't like. Okay, this one didn't even middle. Okay, so if I come here now and I want to change this guy to 50, you see what is happening? This guy is maintaining its own spacing, like no stress. That's the beauty of all of them. You see what all of them are. How does the change reflect in situation where different is different from the alpha? I have not done variant divine John Opala. I've not yet done variants. This is just components. Variants are not like the alpha components. So what you change in your variant is going to affect whatever use of the variant that you did. So when you get to variants, you will see that. So it's safe to say that your variant is like a pseudo alpha, if you get what I mean, like a pseudo alpha component. So basically, whatever you do on your variant is going to affect its use in whatever page that is being implemented. Is that clear, please? Divine. You see it, Sha. All right. So yeah, that's it. Let's now do variant. So let's say I want to do a variant of this component. Please let proceed first. Can I have a feeling that some people are not understanding? Maybe even 6. Let us proceed. If you have any question, we ask after variant. So this is a button. Once you now create a variant of it, like I said, you come here, come to variant and click plus. You get this, you get the same thing, but this is not what we want, isn't it? You want to create a secondary button, maybe something that has maybe another color or maybe something that just has a stroke. For me, I'm going for stroke. So let's change this button. We don't want a fill, we want a stroke instead. So we add our stroke. We want to use the same color we'll be using. This place is not empty, by the way, just in case you are saying that where did the text go? It's still there because it is white. So and our background is white. So typically, of course, it looks like it's not there. So I'm changing it to the color that I want. So I'm going to name my variant secondary button. Right? So in a situation where I'm not answered Divine's question, in a situation where I use this guy again, if I decide to expand this guy, it's going to affect this guy too. Let me show you. If I decide to make this guy 100, can you see it's following through? You see that it doesn't affect the alpha guy. It is still maintained. So your variant is like a pseudo alpha. Unlike these guys, if you press anything, if like expand for now tomorrow morning, it doesn't affect the one at the top, right? It's just doing its thing on its own. But with this guy, it will affect it because it's like a pseudo alpha as well. So is that clear, Divine? Can you just give me a thumbs up or something? Okay, I feel like I will take that as it. Yes, say something, please. Is that Divine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I was saying, you know how you said you can make a change to the alpha component, and when you do that, it affects the variant, right?
No, it doesn't affect the variant. I said it affects where it is being used. I've never done variants then. Remember, you guys said you did not understand. Then I went back. I think someone has the question about it, which was something related to it, which was what made me stop on variants and show you guys that, which is a very good question, by the way. So basically, your main is your main component and this is your variant. Both of them are serving as alphas for each other, right? That's why I say pseudo alpha, because at the end of the day, this guy came from this guy. So let's say this is the mother. No, this is the father. And this is the mother. These are the children. So this is the children, or let me even use something else. They are both from the same family, but this is the auntie. This is Auntie Mary. This is Auntie Tosin. So these are Auntie Mary's children. Of course, Auntie Mary's children is not Auntie Tosin's children. They are just from the same family. Do you get? So basically, this guy here, this woman here, this auntie, these are our children. This auntie here, this is our own child. So whatever you do to this auntie is going to affect our child. Whatever you do to this auntie is going to affect our child. But of course, they all started from this guy. But it doesn't mean that because I do this, then this one will move. No, this guy is already an alpha because it was created from a component itself. It's a variant of the first one. So it's like a pseudo, even though it is not the original, so to speak. It's an original in itself. Does that make sense, please?
Yeah, it does. So it's just kind of like a variation, and it has its own, should I say, sub components under it, and then the main component has its own under it as well. I get
exactly. I know. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's fine. All right. Thank you. All right. So we've done that. So I want to give an instance where we use this variant inside a let's say a Euro session. So you see it at work, right? So let's create something. Let's create something. Take you out. Right. What should we create? Let's go. We need in your kitchen. Let's make you 50. I create my grid because I don't understand. Think because I already done this. I don't have to show you this one. All right. God forbid you use 0, 0. Please never use 0, 0, 0 in your design. Don't kill your developer. Can you use any other black for 0, 0? Nah. Do not use 0, 0. You can use 1, 0, 0 if you want. Because, and again, even your viewers, it can be so sharp in their eye. So please never use 0, 0, 0. But the left just comment all this comment. Okay, sorry, that's not this question. So let us add something like any text. So it's too big. I don't want you. Make you 16. Or I can make you 18. Let's make you regular. Let's make you 5. Okay. I don't know what to write this. I'm about to write rubbish. Okay. Have it clear. Okay. So this is our Euro text. Then now we want to use those buttons. Let's say this is what we want to use. Now we want to use those 2 buttons, right? But we don't want to have to copy and paste. Like we don't want to have to go back there and take the second one, right? So let's say we want to make this one explore or learn more, right? Yes, that's the typical one they use. Yes, we want to make this one learn more. Right, changing the text does not affect anything, so don't worry, just follow, just do your thing. But now I don't want to use this guy. I was like, oh god, I don't even like this default primary button. Let me even change this to the secondary. Now you will now come here. Can you see this? This is your default. That's the one that you created first. You now click on it. Can you see what we have here? What's the second one we created? We now pop and it will change. Can you see that? You didn't have to come here. Okay, let me go and look for it. Because typically your components will never even be on the same page with these guys. To be on that page. So you now have to open assets. Okay, I'm looking for my assets. You now be taking it. No stress, man. Just from there, take your stuff, or you can change to the default again if you want anyone that you want. So I think, is that clear? We'll do another example, don't worry. But is that clear? Nobody raising up the hand.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so now we can see how like these guys make our life so easy. Like when you start creating your style guide, it can be like a bore, but in the long run, it's like it saves your life. To be honest, it might look like a bore, but it does help you in the long run. So yeah, we have that done for us. I think that is pretty clear. All right, let me do another example. This one I like to do for drop downs, where let's say I have a maybe an FAQ page. Let's do something. FAQ page. Let me just pick a text from here. Okay. Let's say this is an FAQ, for instance. How do I go from point A to point B. Let's go and look for drop down. This is just an example. You can use components and variants in different ways. So I'm just giving a second example, I think, just to broaden our minds, because it looks like I gave only one. So let me give another example. Somebody left the comment. You cannot see my screen. It's not slanted. Maybe you have to straighten your own screen. My screen is not slanted. Drop down. These people in this one, they like use Iconify. Yeah, they are ugly icon. They come out. I don't like the icon I'm saying. I cannot spell down. Mad. Okay, let us just use this one, baby. I don't like it. Let's use it, baby. It looks like if I turn it aside, it will look like the button for you to play. So fat. Come on, going. Make it just. Oh shit! I did not do that stuff. You don't like you. So mind you, like that. Typically, I will always flat icons. I will even see packs or maybe this other one, but I don't think they have this integrated. What's the name? Is it remix icons? Something like still call it. Let me just AutoLayout to straighten my team. Make I know it's 93. Okay, straightened. Yes, the old style. All right, so yeah, let's make it 10. Now, so I want to create a component and a variant, for instance, where how it will look like when a user clicks the drop down, like when it opens, and how it will look like when a user closes it, right? So this is something. All right, so yeah, so let me create a component out of this. Right click, press create component. Let's name this unopened drop down. Right now, I want to create a variant from this guy. Of course, this was going to give us, or this is not what we want. So we are going to make change. We just change this guy. So what? I'm going to like rotate this guy. I don't really know master. Anybody that laugh, I'll bite them. Okay, this will be one eating. Yay, I know mass more. All right. So this will be for opened drop down. So let's run it here. So if I bring this guy here as my FAQ, for instance, let's make this one look a little bit meaningful, even though now vibes really create for you. Thank you. So I want to change this guy. I don't want this guy to let us duplicate it. Let us have him even add AutoLayout. Let me be implementing what I change. Okay. Let's say I want to change this guy. I don't want this guy to look like this again. Right? I want it to look like when I open the stack. I just come here on open drop down. Click here. Sorry, I'm in local components, right? Swap, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, shit. Sorry, come here. Default, open drop down. Or if I want to change this one, come here, open drop down. So basically this was part that confused me, just in case people are confused too. Don't worry, I'm not lost. This part on open drop down is showing, it's now showing on open drop down because you have other components there that have variants. So now we have two components that have variants. We have the buttons and we have the drop down. Sure you get. So this guy is just like a a place that stores all the components that you have. Why this guy is like a breakdown of each of them, depending on the one you select. If I select this guy now, of course, my button will show, and the content I will have is the variant I created for their button. If I select my guy, drop down, this is what we show. You see the beauty of component, saves your life, saves your time. That sounds like this thing. All right, so that's it. I think that is all for now. If you have any question, please proceed and ask. I think that is all we are doing for today. I've touched AutoLayout, variants, components, and the likes. All right. All right. Who has any question, please? I think I can stop sharing, or I should just leave it. Okay, I think I can stop sharing. No one said I shouldn't. All right. Okay. Who has any question, please?
Hello, hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Olamiwa, sorry about that. Good evening, please shoot.
Sorry, Koka, if you want to speak, please raise your hand first. Like I always said, or raise your hand before you unmute your mic. So please, let's follow instructions. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I just wanted to find out, do you have any advice for a link where I can learn Figma for, properly?
Yes, mostly YouTube and videos. Figma themselves, let's go to Figma's channel. They teach people all these things.
Okay.
Figma themselves, they go to their channel. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Any other question, please? Who's raising their hands? I think nobody. So in other news, we all understood all of this. Okay, so any of the mentors, if you have anything to add, please. Then mentor have anything to add? It looks like nobody has anything to add. Okay, please, if you have anything to add, please.
Okay, so I'm actually waiting to round up the class. I don't think I want to add anything. So do I have your permission to round up the class?
Yes, please, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, okay, I think you have someone raising his or her hand.
Okay, Timile.
I'm very, very sorry. I just want to chip in something. Someone just asked like a question where he or she.
Yo, this thing is your stuff is cracking. It's just me. I cannot. Just can you type it?
I'll type it.
Okay. Please, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Tolu, thank you for the class today. Like someone said, they love your vibe. So thank you for the class. Okay, to the mentors available on this call, thank you, Chidera. Thank you, Emmanuel, Favor, Amrachi that came on the call. Okay, so for some of us who did not hear the announcements before the class, okay, please go to the announcements channel on the Slack and make sure you download the audio session for the audio, for the info session we had yesterday, and so you can actually be informed on several changes that have been made as regards your training. So thank you very much, and do have a wonderful night.
All right. Thank you, guys.